Hello, welcome back to Madhu Decodes, another episode where we unpack stories behind AI and the people building our future with AI solutions. Today, we have a very special guest. She is a multifaceted personality, a dancer, animator, film producer, mom, and now a founder of an AI product. Bianca Pietersz, the founder of ViziSmart maintenance management system. Welcome, Bianca. I know you're fundamentally changing how landlords and property managers operate. We are all excited to hear your story behind ViziSmart. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here, Madhu. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. So now we are going to decode your journey, the tech behind the new AI, the product ViziSmart, what it means to the property managers and the customers, and the secret to your success as well, Bianca. So let's jump straight in with the origin, the aha moment, right? So let's start with your journey. You had a very successful career path. You also were experimenting with different fields, like you were a dancer, choreographer, mom, film producer, etc. And you are also now venturing into AI because you already had a property management organization as well. What was this aha moment that actually clicked and you said, okay, now I have to do something different?
Yeah, so all of the things that I've always done in the art space, it's kind of like lifelong endeavors, right? These are joys of life that you don't want to lose out of your life. So when real responsibilities come into your life, you kind of take those on and you really learn to tackle new problems. And as you grow older, you tackle even more problems. And these obstacles are only a way for you to really expand your capacity, right? I think it's funny that people sometimes will bucket a person or themselves into just one lane, but in reality, we really are multifaceted people. So we ended up investing in properties, and that's when my journey started in property management. We built a property management company to separate ourselves from the properties, and then I had to learn to solve people's problems extremely quickly. And it was a big learning curve at the beginning. We did buy distressed properties, so we had a lot of maintenance issues. Now, with these maintenance issues, a property manager's role is to service both the tenant and the landlord. The tenant and the landlord have very different wants and needs. And you are the liaison between everybody and also the person to blame when anything goes wrong. These service providers are also a part of that mix. If somebody arrives late, you don't have very much control over that. All you have control over is you can communicate adequately to all parties and be able to resolve conflict amongst all parties. And I was having a very tough time before technology and before implementing this technology with actually making sure things were done adequately, validating, having a track record of all of the repairs that were needed, that were done, that were scheduled, that were in process, and really being able to relay all of the proper messaging from one side to the other and really service everything very easily. Like, I was extremely stressed out. I am also a mother. So the constant calls and the issues that I was having, I would be spending hours of my day just going back and forth from the tenants, back and forth from the service providers, back and forth with the landlords that I service. And then we really, I found myself kind of buried in it. And that took many hours of my day, right?
Okay.
And that's when I started thinking. AI came out. I was also still selling portraits as an artist, and Lensa AI came out, and now you could put like 3, 4, 5 pictures of yourself into a software, and you could have 20 pictures, 20 different portraits in different styles of yourself.
Okay.
So that was no longer going to be a good method of income, right? So I didn't wallow. I just jumped on and I learned everything I possibly could. And I saw how we could make my goal is really to benefit humanity with this, right? My goal is to take a technology that maybe people are a little bit afraid of, but if they learn the inner workings of it, you can apply it to good, and you can apply it to helping people and to eradicating stress and to really upping the efficiency of these companies. And so if I had like an extra set of hands. If I went on vacation and I still needed to service all of my properties and I didn't have a whole bunch of staff with me, now it's absolutely possible because I have an assistant that can take all of the requests, that can process all of the requests. I can approve it. And then everything is handled for me from start to finish without me having to be involved. If there's somebody who reschedules, it goes back and forth between them and I don't have to be involved. Yeah, it's incredible.
That's really amazing. It's cool. It's cool how you thought about AI agent being a solution for you. Perplexity CEO Arvind Srinivas, actually, I was watching his podcast and he mentioned how the future is going to look like. What he's saying is every individual will have their own cloud. They will have their own agents to run their life. Be it helping them sort out their calendar, be it helping them sort out their emails, their work, whatever they want to do as a parent, setting homework, etc. And now what you're describing to me is as a mom of two, as an artist, as a property owner yourself, as a landlord, you wanted to solve your problem with an AI agent. So I think it's brilliant you thought that way. So I'm so proud of you that you were one of the early adopters and saw that AI could solve your problem. Thank you. So now for our listeners, maybe you should talk a little bit about ViziSmart, the tool itself. What is this for? What is this tool for? And more importantly, the AI, the buzzword let's cut through that. Tell me what part of your product is smart and how you decided AI is needed for this solution, because it could have been done with normal software processes, but why AI as well as a solution?
Okay, yeah. So for me, I didn't really think about the why too much. I knew that I had a problem and I knew that I had to have it solved. For me, the inner workings of how it got solved didn't matter as much. I knew AI could help, and so we implemented it from the ground up. All of the current property management software, they have very old systems. So they were built back 30 years ago, and now they are adding AI on top of something that was built a very long time ago with old technology. So what makes us different is that we have built ground up with agents, and each part of our platform has an agent behind it. So it's essentially a multi-agent structure. It's one master agent that does the talking, but then there's another master agent that does there's a chat agent. And then there's also we have like a proprietary video model as well. There's lots of inner workings of AI within our system in different points. What does the coordinating? What does the scheduling? What creates the tickets? They're all different agents actually. And they are all paired together within the bounds of what we call Vizi.
That's great. So the way you've described to me is you know the property management life cycle and you know the tasks behind each handover point, and at each handover point you've reduced the time that it takes to solve a problem by introducing agents in multiple steps along your journey.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. So what are the features that your product has? What kind of problems does it solve?
So we do all of the tenant request handling. I, as a manager, I can also request, and this is tenant and manager request handling. We coordinate with service providers, or Vizi coordinates with service providers. So you either have preferred providers or assigned providers to your properties. If you're a property management company or even a small operator, usually you're going to have 1 or 2 or 3 people on staff that are your go-to person. Like Johnny is the one who handles all of our HVAC stuff. Mm-hmm. Jerry does all of our plumbing. So those 2 people can be assigned to those properties. Now, every time one of those tasks gets created or one of those tickets are created, that goes directly to Jerry for plumbing and Johnny for HVAC. If they have multiple disciplinary in their work, if they also do, like handyman. If a handyman does many things and he is assigned to that property, whatever is within the category that is within his bandwidth that you have assigned will go to him. And also, we have a bidding feature. So if you don't have somebody who is on hand, on staff, or they're on vacation, you can send it out to everybody on the platform who's within the radius of the property. And everybody gets notified, and they have a section on their side of the platform where they can bid for that ticket. There's open jobs. So we also give more opportunity to service providers to have more work for them.
That's nice. That's nice. So if I've understood it right, if I'm a property manager, I probably will go into ViziSmart, create my login, and add my properties into the channel, into my login, and maybe log a task on my property, and I say, okay, this property needs plumbing work. And there are a pool of service providers that I can pick from, and ViziSmart actually allocates that to those pool of service providers, and my job gets done.
Yeah, essentially. And you no longer have to fill a form either. So you have a simple chat, just like you would have a conversation with your manager. You have a conversation with, she creates the ticket for you. You don't have to set any parameters for that ticket. It is auto done, and then it is auto sent to all of these providers. Then once that comes back, they fill out a report. It is still a manual process for them to fill out that report because their expertise is needed. Their actual physical hands are needed to fix the problem, right?
I see. Yeah.
So we empower people rather than replace people. And then
that's nice.
If you need to go back and check, we have a proprietary video model. So we can actually do walkthrough inspections and make readies with our inspection tool, where you can go in, you walk around with a video. That video has objects that are detected. And then the entire process starts from there, where all of those tickets are generated automatically. You have a full report automatically that gets sent to your service providers automatically, or to bidding, whatever you've chosen. And it makes it so much easier and so much more efficient. Because right now, all of these other tools, they have very manual processes for this. A person goes in, a lot of times with paper. They have a sheet with a checklist of things to check for. And then they're inspecting it, they're checking them off, they have to take the pictures or the videos, then to build a report, send it to the property management company owner or whoever is managing that.
Okay.
Hours, like many hours.
I see. So basically my plumber can open ViziSmart, the video tool of ViziSmart. He or she can actually videotape the whole findings from the property, and once they complete, the report gets sent out. Just from the video itself.
Right now, it's mostly the property managers who have this feature. The vendors, we're still finding a way. Right now, a manager would take that video, and then you can share that video. You could share it with the plumber if necessary. If he is one of your employees, you can share it with, if you are the manager and employee manager, you can share that with your property management company owner. And so it kind of eliminates the waiting for that next meeting to get the updates and the reports. You have it all on your application at all times, and it's been shared with you.
Okay, so this is from a property manager angle, correct?
Yes. From a property manager or landlord.
Thank you. So for the landlord, is the experience going to be slightly different from a property manager, because the landlord herself or himself is going to log this problem, and they don't have to send a report to their manager, for example, or somebody else in the organization. I think the landlord would probably want to see the report from one or two of those properties that they really own. So in future, are you planning to give this same video feature to the vendors also, so that they can send a completion report after the work is completed?
Yeah, so that's currently in process. We're actually looking at the laws to make sure that if they are marked within the same company, they have access to it. If they are not marked within that company, it won't be able to be sent to them, because it's just there are legal protections for inside of somebody's home and sharing videos of that and those kinds of things.
I know you're talking from the US, so these laws are very predominant in US. Okay.
Yes, and each state will have its own laws to adhere to. Yeah. So we're very careful and we're very safe to adhere to all standardized and regulatory needs.
Thank you. So what are the other features that we should be knowing about?
Well, you can actually train your own Vizi. So we have base training for her, but you can train her just like an employee with all of your SOPs, your standard protocols, your hierarchies. You set the hierarchies of your business. You set the protocols of your business, and she adheres to all of the information that you give her.
Right. So can we describe Vizi as property manager's assistant, or is Vizi another property manager herself?
Yeah, so I also deem her as a manager. I deem her as my maintenance manager or my maintenance coordinator.
I see. Okay. So even if you're a property manager, if you need an assistant, then that's Vizi for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
It's that extra set of hands you really need.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you further questions on the service providers, right? So how do we know in which geography is this property located, and who are the service providers for that geography? And are those service providers part of your company, or are they privately owned, or is it, because if I'm a landlord, I may have service providers who I trust and who know my property very well, and I may want to invite them into the mix, right? How does that happen? What is the equation with my preferred property handymans versus Vizi's list of handymans?
So you can add any of your own people. That's what's great about this. You add them to your own preferred vendors list, and then they can choose if they want to participate in other jobs, in those bidding jobs, if they come up for them. Now, if you don't have somebody, we have partnerships with vendor companies who have vetted vendors. And so we contact them through our service and we already have the addresses based on what you've inputted into our app. We already know those zip codes. And if the service provider that we have on our platform matches that zip code, then that's how it's paired.
Very nice. So is this now available only in the US and only in certain countries, or how geographically spread are you?
So right now we are only available in the US. There are little small tweaks needed to make it international, and it's really just on the phone numbers and the general laws of that place, right? Like there's more research needed. You know, I'd be willing to bring on design partners who are international, who are willing to share about their laws and have us come in and really tailor a system for them and their practices as well.
Nice, very nice, very nice. That seems really nice actually, because you're able to configure your geography, you're able to configure your own vendors or service providers, and you're able to configure number of properties as a property manager for Vizi to help, right? So these are all amazing features, because I understand this is all being done manually, and it's most of the time the landlords and property managers having to do chase-up calls, follow-ups and appointments, etc. So you also mentioned that there are going to be automatic follow-ups, there are going to be automatic reschedules. And do you also consider availability in the property owner's time and calendar? So how is that managed?
So the property owner or whoever is making the request is setting their own time in the request.
Okay.
Now, if the property service provider does not have that time in their availability, then they will reschedule. It goes back and forth until an arrangement is reached between the parties.
Very, very nice. I think you've hit all the pain points normally in this life cycle, whatever people would normally face. I think because you've been in the system and you've managed properties, you've properly understood what the pain points are. Really good. I'm going to ask you further questions though. Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah. So there's one more thing. So in our reports, we have causation identification. So you know whether it is due to either the tenant or the property deterioration. And this leads directly into that bottom line, because if it is tenant induced, for example, in our company, we do have stipulations in our contract where they will have to pay for whatever damage they cause. And that can be tied directly in with the accounting. And you now have that charge on the tenant's account, and then you have all of the property deterioration on you as the landlord.
Very nice. So is it configurable as well? Is that configurable through the landlord login?
We also do like custom integrations. So if you have a specific platform that you are housing your accounting, then we can look at those APIs and do a direct tie-in to that to reflect on those.
Nice, very nice. So throughout this journey, when you started from a concept to a version 1 of the product or the prototype of the product, what were the hurdles that you faced?
Man, there's so many hurdles, right? Like when you're bringing something from nothing into existence, I guess it's becoming very clear in what you want to create. That's a very big hurdle for people who are starting out.
Okay.
A lot of people have trouble with like deciphering their niche or really doing that market investigation and seeing if people will really truly buy something that you want to build. I would say it's more important to do the market validation first and to maybe build a pipeline before you even start building. Just gauge if people would be willing to pay for something before spending a ton of money and time and hours into that something.
Okay.
Then you have to be careful in the tech space, right? Because it is ever changing and it is extremely fast. Really evaluate what you're creating and see if it stands the test of time, right?
Okay.
With these big behemoth companies like ChatGPT, they will, Microsoft, like these companies come in and they just kind of build something. They will see what's in the market, they will build it, and then they will gobble all of the market share from these startups who are, very, very hardworking, but they will have less resources and less staff than these giant companies. So that is a consideration. And the technology is moving so quickly that even when you are in this space, it feels like you are always going to be behind.
Yeah. True.
Something comes out every single day that is new and exciting. And so another really, really important thing is to have focus. That's really hard these days. A lot of people will jump from one thing to another, to another, to another.
Yeah.
Because everything is new and exciting. So there's a lack of follow through and a lack of staying consistent, which is required to build a business.
Very true. Very true. So I think those are very big advices and I think key hurdles anybody would face when they're building a product or marketing a particular niche. Thank you so much. And we have to understand the differentiator for your clients, right? What is your unique edge and why would a customer choose your product over their existing business or over their existing practice?
Yeah, so I think it was actually quite a challenge to find our differentiator. And we finally have, which I'm really excited about, and it is our Make Ready feature, our inspection tool. It's something that all of the other competitors in our space do not have, and it's something that we've done very proficiently, and I'm really excited to share that with the world.
Thank you. So have you rolled it out already? Is it an upcoming feature?
It is an upcoming feature. Yeah, we're rolling it out in January.
Very good. Very good. So how did you actually have to convince your target audience? How did you do that?
Yeah, so real estate is a very person-to-person industry, and there's a lot of people involved. If you're talking to a CEO, they might be very easy to say, yeah, I'm in, I'm on board. And then they have to bring in their operators, their managers, their techs. And then it becomes a room of 12, 13, 14 people that you're speaking to. And then there will be other kind of inner politics that are going on. There's also a lot of things that we cannot control in the sales process, right?
Yep.
In the United States, there's been a lot of legal changes. There's been a lot of monetary changes in the past year. For example, tariffs have become a really big pain point for a lot of US businesses. And acquisitions, the real estate market, the interest rates kept going up, and it was very difficult for people to keep up with that. adjustable rate mortgages started coming into play, where now people were, potentially facing bankruptcy because they could not afford the new interest rates on the adjustable rate mortgages that they already had. So all of those things play a role in the, the urgency of using a new product, right? And what you can control is how you deliver your services and how you can provide ROI for the client.
I know you have a ROI calculator in your website. So what is that meant for?
We do have an ROI calculator. It is meant for you to play around with and see how much money you can save by switching to ViziSmart or by adding ViziSmart to your current stack.
Okay. Has there been any feedback about your ROI tool, how useful it has been, etc.?
Yeah, a lot of people think it's too good to be true.
Okay, so I think we need to look at your success numbers then. So when they use this ROI tool and they actually convert to your customer, can you give us any case studies or numbers that we can relate to?
Yeah, so this is more of it didn't come with specific numbers,
okay.
But we did have a company who had an increase in staff retention. Now, This is something that you cannot quantify in numbers that much, right? I've retained these people where before they were constantly turning over, and that's due to saving of time, saving of stress. But the way that this tool fits into a product, it is on the maintenance and longevity side. So it is a little bit different than if you are accounting or marketing and getting new clients for them, right? This is sustaining of their client base and of those assets.
Okay. So let me ask you this way then. So what does success look like for your B2B customers?
It looks like efficiency. So the streamlined process reduces time, increases speed, and improves all over operational efficiency and cuts that back and forth that they have. That's tenant satisfaction increase.
Okay. Yep.
Speed to resolution time decrease. Speed increase to resolution time and a decrease in the amount of time that it takes.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think these are critical in property management at least, because if there is a leak, you definitely have to attend to it sooner.
Absolutely.
And time is very critical in such scenarios, right? I can get that. So are you only focusing on B2Bs or your product is open for B2Cs as well?
So we have actually just implemented homeowners into our offer.
Okay.
So we have a section for HOAs and we have a section directly for homeowners, which means if you would like to try it and you just own your home and you have maintenance needs, you can also sign up to an account and use it.
Okay. So I don't have to have multiple properties to into ViziSmart. Okay. That's amazing. So even with one property, are we still able to hit our...
Yeah, so with the one property, we're experimenting with different policies in that or different pricing.
Okay.
If you only have one, right now our system is $2 per door per month. That's it.
Wow.
Yep. So we are a very cost-effective solution. Now, if you are a homeowner, we have a one-off system as well, where you can pay for one service every time you come on, and that will be like a $5 service fee.
Very nice. And do you have any, property insurance tie-ups and things like that?
Not at the moment.
Are you thinking about it? Okay.
No, so we are plugging into property management systems, and most of them already have the accounting and they already have the insurances. Everything is already accounted for, and they just need improvement on this maintenance side.
Okay, got it. Fair enough. So basically, wherever there is a void, that's where you're trying to fill in.
Exactly.
Okay, that's very nice. So what are your customers most excited about when they use this product? What kind of feedback have you received?
I think that the new feature that we have implemented that we're now testing, people are really excited about that. I think
The new
that's
feature meaning, which one are you
the
specific?
inspection tool.
For the inspection tool. Okay, so
Mhm.
you are receiving good feedback on the inspection tool themselves. Okay,
Yes,
that's great.
definitely.
That's great. Which would you say is your second best?
Second best. Well, I think training Vizi is actually a really unique feature.
Right.
Most systems, they're hard coded, right? Like they're hardwired the way that they're hardwired.
Mhm.
And in our system, she is malleable to you. She trains with what you give her to improve on personalizing for your company. So that's really special.
Very nice, very nice. I think property management venturing those new features that you can actually break through with AI, I think those are the key call outs, right? What you're talking to me is a very specific AI feature. The training your own assistant is very specific to an AI, isn't it? So that's amazing how you tap into the strengths of AI.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Do you hear some banging?
yeah, I do.
Okay,
We
give
can
me
make
one
sure.
moment, please.
Okay, sure.
Sorry about that. They can only last so long.
I know, I was thinking, do we need to break now and do another recording a little later or something? Or you're,
No, it's
you're
okay.
okay now?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's do it all
let's
now.
do another 10 minutes and wrap up, right? So
Perfect.
I wanted to ask you about your tech stack, all right? For our young listeners, AI entrepreneurs who are aspiring to build solutions similar to what you have, are you willing to share some of your key tech stack elements or your key tech design concepts that they can use in their projects?
Yeah, I wish it was going to be a little bit more accessible,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a little bit less accessible the way that we built it. So because we were keeping IP in mind with all of this, we've
Mhm.
actually built from the ground up.
Okay.
I started with building prototypes in no-code, low-code solutions, but a
Mhm.
lot of times when you are vibe coding and you're doing that kind of stack, you do not have full rights to what you create because you are giving everything away to these companies who are training their models on what you're building, right?
Mhm.
And so we really did. We went full Python, Django framework. We do use different tools to translate our code into apps.
Okay.
I think we're using Capacitor for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a very ground level custom code model that
Okay.
we've built
Okay.
and an application. And it's
I
pretty
see.
long at this point. Like every different feature and every different add-on that we've made, our code base is extensive now. It looks
I see.
very easy from the front end, but on the back end, it is quite complex.
Got it. Are you using large language models, LLMs? If you are, can you specify which one was more suitable to your solution?
Yeah, so we started with ChatGPT. We've implemented Mistral. We have like a fallback system for when there's outages. We also incorporate Gemini. We use different models based on the different requirements of each feature.
Okay. So would you be able to call out which model is suitable for which feature? Is that something you are able to map?
Yeah, we can map it. And there's always more models coming out, right? So even if we have something now that is working really well, in the future, we might change it. Just like any system. When you are like prompting something, there will be different results from the different models, even if you have prompted it the same way. So to get the same results from different models, it actually takes a lot of reworking of that same code. It's a little bit more complex than what you would think. Yeah,
definitely. I think this is resonating with many startup entrepreneurs that I've spoken to. I think they've all told me choosing the right LLM has been a challenge, right? And most of the time they do trial and error before they land in one. I've heard that too. Yeah.
And there's a lot of considerations, right? You have cost being a consideration. You also, it's actually become more of like a philosophical consideration as well, a moral consideration. If you go with this certain large language model, are you training that system? And what are the values of the people who are, guiding that large language model? What do they want for humanity, right? It just becomes a lot more that you have to think of. And I think that it's a struggle for a lot of business owners because if you're looking so extensively at like the larger picture, then you might want to start experimenting and exploring other avenues as well.
Fair enough. I think LLM psychology is a topic I spoke to another podcast guest, S. Anand, who's calling himself as a world's first LLM psychologist, does a lot of experiments. He does explore the opportunities and answers each LLM provides for a certain problem, and he finds out what's best in which scenario, etc. So very much like what you told me, and very much so exactly like you said, right? When you ask a certain question or give a certain problem to an LLM, two LLMs will behave differently. So I think he's doing a lot of research on it. And I think for now, we have to go on a case-by-case basis, look at what suits best for the tech stack that we have and the use case that we have in mind. And you're also resonating the same thought process because that's how other entrepreneurs have done it.
And then also look at how much funding that LLM has and what the lifespan of that LLM has the potential to have as well.
I see. Okay.
More funded large language models will be more trained. Mm-hmm. They will have better results over time. Mm-hmm. However, now that we've seen things like, is it Kimi 2? There's a lot of small language models or large language models that have been trained on a lot less with a lot less price, a lot less cost, that are actually benchmarking comparably to these large language models that have tons of infrastructure and tons of backing.
That's very nice. So far you said ChatGPT and Gemini. Are there those small LLMs that you have implemented in your solution, if you can name them?
Yeah, so we built one. So I wouldn't be able to name it because
it's your custom LLM.
It's custom and it's not on the market. It's something that we had to build from scratch to make it operable the way that we envisioned it.
Thank you. Yeah. I think as we wrap up, for the people who are listening right now, maybe a product manager or an aspiring founder with their own AI idea, what is the single best piece of advice you can give them before they start?
Validate first. Don't just start. Really go into the market and really have a problem that you're going to solve before wasting any time or money.
Okay.
Because it can become a very costly learning lesson if you spend years and tons of money and then are unable to recoup those costs. Now, being a founder and building something is already extremely straining, not only on your finances, but it will be on your family if you have one. There are many considerations that you have to have, and just realize this is a full life change. Going in and starting a business is no small feat, and you will dedicate all of your time to this for X amount of years until this works. So resiliency and grit are going to be your best friends.
Yeah. Like any story goes, I think in order to be happily ever after, resilience and grit is going to be your base. Very true. Very, very true. Yeah. I think as a parent, as a mom of two, resilience and grit is going to be throughout your life anyway. And you're going to be given surprises throughout your journey. It's very similar to an entrepreneur's or a founder's journey. With children, you never can predict what is going to come next. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. Thank you so much, Bianca. Thank you for being in this show. Thank you for breaking down a lot of concepts, ideologies, alongside the choice of LLM, alongside the tech stack, alongside, the problems that you faced, and more importantly, the features that your product has, ViziSmart has. And I'm so excited for your product, and I'm sure it's going to be a huge success because it solves problems. It solves the real problems for real people. And this is going to be great.
Thank you so much, Madhu. I was so happy to be here and talk to you.
Thank you. It was a very good experience for me as well. Thank you.